I'm here to make inflammatory statements on the internet, and then turn my notifications off.
I was busy with my placements, and if you're someone like me who is working from 7 a.m. till 7:30 p.m, when you go home you just want to hit the bed and sleep. That's exactly what I was going to do, but I decided to see my Facebook just one time, just virtually stalking my crush, dreaming scenarios in my head where I am living my life with her in the middle of nowhere because I have started to lose faith in humanity. But then I came across this post from IG and it just renewed my faith in God. It looks like Resident Evil will be joining the Cowboy Bebop series, got cancelled after the first season list. The news didn't surprise me. I knew it would be cancelled because, let's be real here, the series was garbage, and that's coming from me who saw most Resident Evil movies at the cinema. I remember I saw Resident Evil Afterlife on the day of release, so yeah, that should tell you a lot. My point is, even though the Resident Evil movies, especially after the second one, which was Apocalypse if I recall correctly, the movies were not following any Resident Evil game at all. Mila Jovovich's character was OP, and she had more plot armor than your Elden Ring bosses. But at their core, the movies themselves were enjoyable. You could watch those movies, and even though you might get upset as a Resident Evil fan, but as an action movie lover, you might get a few thrills out of it. I'm not going to count in Welcome to Raccoon City because I have seen my favorite YouTubers who know Resident Evil more than I do dissect this movie in and out for me to establish the opinion that this movie is dog and I should avoid it. I'm going off topic here, but coming back to Netflix's Resident Evil series, seeing it getting cancelled was probably the best thing I heard that day. And yeah, I know someone's going to say, but think of all the talented people who have lost their jobs. Shut up. If they really are talented, then they'll have no problem getting another job. Unless they aren't, in which case it would explain why the series failed.
Daddy, chill.
But honestly dude, this series should not have been made in the first place. There was nothing in the first episode I looked at that made me feel that I was watching something Resident Evil related. Take out the title card and people will struggle to make out if they are watching Resident Evil series or something else entirely. Yeah, they had the Gravedigger and the Cerberus from the game, but Resident Evil is more than just zombies and monsters. Oh, and by the way, they are not called zombies in the series, they are called Zeros. Why? I don't know and I don't fucking care, don't ask me. So yeah, Resident Evil is more than just about zombies and monsters. It's about humanity trying to survive a zombie outbreak, where the dead are eating people, but the living have to make sure that they don't end up on the menu as a happy meal. Resident Evil is about creepy atmosphere, the sense of isolation, the tension of running out of bullets, not knowing what's around the corner. It's about mystery and trying to piece together this jigsaw puzzle to make sense of what's going on around you. It's not about teenage girls listening to Billie Eilish or whatever the hell that singer's name is. It's not about family drama. I mean, you look at the series and there's no sense of dread or isolation. The characters are unlikable, the sets look cheap, and the story is as uninteresting as the stories your grandfather tells you who has dementia.
Yeah, that's not funny.
Seriously dude, and you know what really blows my mind? People who made the series went in knowing full well that they were making a Resident Evil series. And nobody, and I mean nobody, looked at the pre-production design, the script, or even the basic outline of the story and said, this is garbage. Nobody looked at this thing in mid-development and thought, this is not what Resident Evil is all about. Nobody went to the showrunner and said, hey, you know what, Chief? I think we're straying away from the Resident Evil formula here. Nobody thought about it. I really wish Netflix released like some sort of behind the scene documentary for the series, because I'm curious to see what buzzwords were thrown around to get this series started. I want to see what exactly did they focus on when they were making this series, because I can assure you those words would not be survival horror or survival action. I bet there were words like diversity and inclusion, because that's what the series felt like. It felt like an exercise, a sort of live drill in diversity and inclusion, because there was so much diversity here that I had to look for a white person on the screen. Every time I saw a white person, I was like, oh crap, white people, I have heard so much about you. You sure you're not lost or something? How long are you gonna stay alive for? How are they gonna go out? Usually we say that about black people in slasher movies, because they have a low life expectancy. But I had to say that about white people in Resident Evil series.
I want to report the news. I don't want to be the news. Besides, brothers don't last long in situations like this.
Oh my goodness, this is... words cannot describe this, man. Seriously, this was bad. Don't believe me? Take a look at the cast, my dude. Look at how diverse it is. I gotta say, Adeline Rudolph is hot. She and that Paola chick, they can break into my house anytime and punish me for not liking the Resident Evil series any day, Coming through the windows, coming through the door, whatever, I don't care. Just make sure there are handcuffs involved.
Oh my.
I mean, really, there is a meme about Netflix messing up casting for the live action adaptations. They literally made that meme come true. It's like they were talking about appealing to millennials, and they were like, so what are the millennials into these days? Well, they're into anxiety and depression, but they're also into memes. Alrighty then, let's give them something to meme about. Seriously, dude, no one at the production level looked at this and thought, this is a fucking joke. No one went to the director and said, look, hey, you know what, we're making Lance Reddick come across like a fool, man. We're making him look like a fool. Don't do that. Nobody at Netflix looked at it and went, if you wanted Wesley Snipes, you could have asked. Why'd you bring his retarded brother Messy Snipes? And yes, I use the word retard because I am one. Eat my ass. But on the real though, I want to know who the series was made for. This is why I want to see the behind the scenes material for this series. I want to see the meetings that took place where the creators were pitching the idea to the execs. I want to know who the target audience was, because it sure as hell wasn't the Resident Evil fans. And it really goes on to show that the creators of the series had no idea what the games were about. I bet they have not even played the games. They might be, just going on Twitch to see some thought play the game, but instead of watching the gameplay, they got distracted by the thoughterry on screen.
Barry.
Any luck, Jill?
No, nothing. What's going on around here? I can't figure it out.
Same here.
Chris and now Wesker.
I cannot see Resident Evil fans praising this series, and the people who did, I wonder if they actually played the games, to be honest. Well, to be fair, the whole idea of live action adaptation is to expose the game universe to people who have not played the games. But for actual gamers who you would expect to have played the games, for those people to come out and say that this series was good, I have to question their integrity. Case in point, this GameSpot review giving it a 9 out of 10. Yes, a series so awesome that Netflix decided to pull the plug on it just after one season. But this part here really goes on to show why people don't trust gaming journalists these days. Chris E. Hayner is the lead entertainment editor at GameSpot. What? What the fuck? whatever. Chris loves all movies, but especially Jaws and Paddington 2. Hold on a second, does Chris like Fight Club as well? Joker? You know those red flag movies? Does Chris like that too? Going by his profile picture, Chris seems to have a soy consumption problem. I sincerely doubt he likes those movies.
Wow. I think he's cute.
I love him. That's sex.
Oh my goodness. Chris viewed all 8 episodes of season 1 courtesy of Netflix. Courtesy of Netflix. The review came out on the 12th of July. The series came out on the 14th. I bet Chris had seen, the series well in advance, like a week ago and stuff, so he's got like a week to watch the series, courtesy of Netflix. And then he had like a week to write the review for the series. So you can tell that arse kissing was in full effect in that review. Also, the reviewer says that he loves all movies. Is that the right kind of person to review? I mean, it shouldn't be. Oh, you know what? Just forget it, Angel. Just forget it.
I'm too old for this shit.
But on the real though, you know what? They should have picked somebody who was highly critical of video game adaptations. Because I can assure you, anyone who was remotely aware of script writing and stuff, they wouldn't give it a 9 out of 10. I'm not a writer, dude, but I looked at it. I looked at loads of plot holes in the first episode alone, and I knew, you know what, this is not gonna work. This is gonna get cancelled.
お前はもう死んでいる。
Another example I want to cast over here, I'm going off script right now. Yes, I'd write scripts for videos like this, but I'm going off the script right now. It's completely ad hoc right now. I recently saw Tekken Bloodline on Netflix, and even though there were a couple of things I wasn't very happy with, because let's be real here, okay? When you're playing a video game, you're dealing with one storyline, but when you're dealing with a fighting game, each character has his or her own storyline, so it's very hard to replicate that on screen. And even then, I think Tekken Bloodline was a pretty good anime. Yes, some characters were sidelined, but in all, the main characters, Jin Kazuma, Hayachi, even Kazuya, they were like properly represented on the screen, man. Their moveset was pretty awesome. They even got the air juggling right in the anime. You know what? That is what happens when you give somebody who's aware of the original source material. That is what happens. Tekken Bloodline is what happens when you actually bring people on board who are aware of the source material, and people who are not, who simply want to push like woke agenda. When you bring them on board, you get Netflix's Resident Evil. I cannot, I can't stress that enough. In conclusion, Netflix's Resident Evil is horrible, boring, bland, and was not needed. And I gotta say, I'm glad that it's been cancelled. It was just woke garbage, and hopefully Netflix will think twice before greenlighting anything that is more focused on woke than storytelling. Seriously, the writing was terrible. I made a video on the first episode because I tapped out. I knew it was going to be garbage, and I knew it would get cancelled. There are so many YouTubers that I personally follow who made, just videos roasting the series. Score PSN, if you don't know, is a Mexican YouTuber. The reason I'm mentioning Mexicans because people might think like, oh, he's a white guy, he might possibly a racist. No, he's not, okay, he's Mexican. And he made a personal mission, he made it his own personal mission to roast the series. And even he tapped out after the 4th episode. Jeremy Jans, he's got like 1.8 million subscribers. He recently reviewed RRR, okay, the biggest movie out of India right now. and even he tapped out after the second episode. Seriously, dude, when people are tapping out after 1 or 2 episodes, you know you messed up. It's just a shame really, because if they had a decent enough script with Netflix's resources, they could have knocked it out of the park. But this is the hand they dealt and the audience folded. Well, at least we have all the memes to laugh at now.
His hair, whack. His gear, whack. His jewelry, whack. His footsteps, whack. The way that he talks, whack. The way that he doesn't even like to smile, whack. Me, I'm tight as fuck.
Oh my god, corny, lame, boo, tomato, 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 I'm throwing tomatoes.
Ha! Gay!
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.